Hello, I'm Oral, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. You know, I've been doing these television shows for a long, long time, since 1984. Been in broadcasting since, 1978. But I tell you something, the person you're going to meet in a few seconds from now is an amazing person. I've been on this program and on Oral Gives Life many, many, many times. And the last time he was here was just under 2 years ago. And he's back. He said he wasn't coming back. But he is back. And it's a pleasure and an honor to have Dr. Anders Leopold James. How you doing, sir?
Thank you very much for having me as guest once more in your program, Oral. It's an honor and a privilege beyond words, I should say. To be a guest in your program. Your program is a very high quality program, and I know that there are a lot of people who would fight to be on your program. So I thank you very much for having me on your program, and I hope that I can bring some kind of enlightenment, some kind of inspiration, encouragement to your viewers and your listeners. So thank you for having me again.
But you know, Mr. James, maybe you don't realize it, but you know, you're a pioneer. And I'll tell you why. When you came up with nation building, it was the furthest thing from everyone's mind. Okay, we were all guilty of talking about independence, separate status, leaving the Netherlands and Antilles, all kind of different ideas about sovereignty. But you tackle one thing that no one else was thinking about: nation building. Today now we see the importance of nation building, but we didn't do anything about it. So how you feel about it today?
You know, Oral, I try in life to be as humble as I possibly can, you know, and to realize that, you know, I am just someone that is blessed with a vision, and I don't take anyone for granted. As a matter of fact, if I may, or I don't want to take over your program.
You go ahead.
So I think it's very important. Yeah, I thank you very much. I think it's very important because the last time I was here, I promised you, myself, and your viewers that was it, that I had no intention or whatsoever to be on TV again, you know, in a studio for sure. You know, if someone wants to come to my home and interview me, it's okay, but I decided, you know, that it is fine. You know, I felt at the time that because of a number of circumstances, you know, that the time had come for me to just, you know, call it quits and to move on with my life. What changed my mind, and it goes to show that you're never too old to learn, right? I'm almost 82, so I should have known better, but I still didn't know better because I thought that was it. And the reason why I basically thought that was it was that, to start with, I was never a person that liked TV. I never liked publicity. I did it because I felt, you know, I just had to do it. You know, it was like a calling, but it wasn't something that I really naturally enjoyed. You know, because as I said, I'm a shy person. I don't like cameras. I don't like TV, you know. But what has happened, basically, you know, in everyone's life, I think, sorry, there are moments that are like landmarks, you know, that bring about fundamental changes in your life. And one such moment was the moment when my wife passed, which is about 7 years ago, right? And it changed my life. And at that time, or even before my wife died, my vision was deteriorating very, very badly. As you know, I suffer from very serious glaucoma, and you know, I see my eyesight just deteriorating, so to speak, by the day. You know, so at a given moment, you know, especially after my wife died, you know, I thought hey, I have given basically, without any regrets, my life to this country, and I, at a certain moment, started to ask myself, shouldn't I really take a good look at my life, and decide, where I move from here. Also, what played a role was in those years that I was very involved with, with our society and social matters. My wife, who was a European lady, right? She did everything for me. I realized after she died that, and I had a kind of sense of guilt, because my wife, she always supported me no matter what. She never got in the way, so to speak. She never said, she never criticized me. She made it clear. She said, Leopold, it's your country. If you feel you got to fight for your country, I respect that, and I'll just support you, as a wife, which she did, in a way that is, I'll ever be grateful to my wife for that. But at a given, I felt that I kind of, for me, fighting for a cause was a passion. And I'm a warrior. I'll tell you that. I'm a warrior. When I believe in something, I am a warrior. So I felt that I was selfish in that sense that, yes, I took risk, but I enjoyed it because I believed in it, But as I said, after my wife died and I started to think back, I said, was it right that you basically, in a way, put your wife through all of those sacrifices? Because there was times that we had to pay for what I did. People don't know a lot of stuff that I did. When I went to
sacrifice.
Oh yeah, a lien was put on my house when, I was involved in, the heavy equipment, demonstration, fighting for others, not for myself. I don't have heavy equipment. I went to prison, spent, a day in prison. They put a lien on my house. I had a criminal record. I mean, I don't want to, look for any.
But for a good cause.
There was many causes. That was,
but it was a good cause.
Yeah, as I said, it wasn't even for me. I stood up for others, as I always do, basically, because when it comes to myself, I fight my own fights, right? So my wife, I realized that, my wife paid a big price, a big price. And also my children, we have 3 children, and they paid a big price, and I realized at a certain moment for my children, that, and I'm sure too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking
exactly
about.
What
Your children out there, they get the how should I put it? They have to deal with the consequences of their father being so outspoken, and always going against the system, So I
to get at your children when they came here.
So I realized that my children suffered. They suffered bad, and it affected them bad, some more than the others, but they were affected. So as I said, at a given moment, I started to think, God still give me life, let me now try to not to sacrifice my family again. I have grandchildren now. I don't want to sacrifice my grandchildren by sticking out my neck and going to that extent again that, I can deal with it, period.
You get some time with your grandchildren too, right?
I want to, because how many times, are you going to get these opportunities? So I say, what? I don't want my grandchildren to suffer the fate that my children suffered, So there was a time that I say, what? I am going to take a back seat, and just, call it a day and let time judge me.
You're throwing the towel then? You just...
Basically throwing the towel in terms of being public, in terms of being public. Because my health too and my eyesight, I say, hey, I'm just human too. I'm...
But sometimes you can't run from it, Mr. James.
I know, so that is so true. So there were times, and I won't go in detail, but there were times that I really want to throw in the towel of the towels, honestly speaking, because...
But I heard that the Prime Minister, Dr. Mercer, met with you too.
Yeah, so what I want to say, Oro, is, there were times that for me it was not. It was enough for me. Ready to throw in towel, ready to call it a day and stuff like that. But then things start to happen, and I realized I'm not a religious person, but I believe in the Supreme Maker. I believe in the universe. I believe in a God, right? And something tell me, Leopold, you so badly want to win the towel in so many ways, literally, right? But this grandmaster is saying, not so fast, Leopold.
The pitch back of the towel that you throw in.
it's like, this great master saying, no.
You got another round.
No, that's not up to you. You can go on oral and promise all you want. That's your business. But my business goes above yours. And for me, I have some work for you to do still.
So when the Prime Minister called you, you said no, or you took...
So what happened, or if I may, what happened,
I'm trying because of time. I'm going
to try to roll up because I really feel I have to say it, because I'm here today because of a lot of people. What I try to say, Oral, where I'm at is because of the support of a lot of people, right? You are one of those. You and your family, how you live as an example, and I know what you went through, right? So many people around me. I don't want to call names because you might forget certain names. So many people inspired me, and when I see what they were going through themselves, you understand? I realized, no, Leopold, you cannot give up on people like that. You still have some work to do, for the people of Samaritan. And some of the people are, as you said, the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, I had a meeting with the Prime Minister. He came at my home. I had a visit my home, and, we had a very frank talk, and I told him to flats, with all due respect, I'd like to work with you, but I'm a very independent person, and I'm just for St. Martin people first, and others after, period. And anybody who goes against St. Martin, you just put yourself in my crosshairs, including you. Right at home flat, And I had another meeting with him in his office on April the 4th, and that was really inspiring because it was the first time that an official, high official, the highest official, basic executive on that side, he listened. The Prime Minister, he listened. He made notes, and at the end of the meeting, he said, Mr. James, this was historic, and we'll meet again. So I have to thank him for having confidence in me in the sense of listening, because what bothered me is not that people never listened to what I had to say, because who's Leopold? I have no problem with that. But what bothered me is, it's not about me. It's right. About the message. It's about the message, and I find at a given moment, people were denying hearing, hearing another message, hearing, another vision, So that bothered me. So I'm very grateful that the Lord has given me the opportunity again to try to, bring another narrative to the people, a narrative of hope, because I said the only condition under which I will come out publicly again is if I have something to share with people that is uplifting. Because we are living in a time on St. Martin in the world of darkness. There's darkness, there's division, there's hatred, there's polarization, there's ignorance, there's despair, right? And I am not going to come out to add to that because, it doesn't make sense. So my condition is I'm only going to come out if I feel, and I do feel, that I have a message that can bring hope, that can bring light. And what I want to focus on in terms of nation building is to create a concept of people coming together, on all possible levels. To start with, on the level of us St. Martiners, both sides of the island, right? On the level of involving other people who want to be part of us as St. Martiners, on the level of the Caribbean integration, on the level of in the kingdom, the republic, the world, and in this context too, I would like to commend, because all those people inspired me. People like the minister, the president of the French side, Mr. Mosenton, by sign up to the OECS, which I think is a great step.
In CARICOM?
Yes. And as the president of the Grassroots movement, which is a movement across the entire island, I would like to make a contribution, so that collectively, we can really, allow St. Martin to play the role it can play in the Caribbean, because St. Martin is key in the Caribbean. St. Martin is key in the Caribbean, but until St. Martin is united internally, it cannot play its maximum role, its highest potential, as a member of, the Caribbean family.
Mr. James, I have to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to continue speaking with Dr. Ernest Leopold James right here on Speaking of Everything. He is a remarkable gentleman, and he's back until he didn't want to. So we're going to be right back after the words here on Hot 99.9 FM radio, Facebook, and YouTube on Speaking of Everything.
We are vibrant, expressive, warm, and diverse. Together, we conquer, and now we expand into new horizons, giving you more of the best. Introducing our new Banco Matico Plus with wider acceptance, purchase protection, and enhanced security. Whether you're online, traveling, or in paradise, experience more with Windward Island Bank. Banco Matico Plus, more of the best.
And my guest here on Speaking of Everything is Dr. Ernest Leopold James. He's my guest. We're here speaking with him on Speaking of Everything, YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio.
All I'm saying is it's a very important step, that was taken, because, we cannot live in isolation from our own direct environment,
right,
and people that basically have the same historical background as us. So that's a very important step. And certainly in this time, where, basically we're living in an age where, the order that as we knew it is being changed. So we have no choice but to find, common grounds and work together in the interest of the people of the Caribbean. So it's a very important step. The only thing that, we on St. Martin have to deal with is that St. Martin is a unique place in that it's one island, but it's run by two different national governments, right? With an open border. You don't have this anywhere in the Caribbean, right? So the point is that if only governments join with the Caribbean, they only can speak basically with half a voice and not with one voice, because the president of the French side, let me call it that, again, the step is a very good one. We applaud it, but he cannot speak for the Dutch side,
right?
And I happen to know people in the Caribbean, they will never tell us to our face, but they find St. Martin, something is wrong with St. Martin, because which St. Martin are they talking to when they deal with St. Martin only from a governmental, approach? Because at a given moment, the Prime Minister of the Dutch side, he cannot speak for the French side. We as an organization, and that was the vision in which I decided basically to form the Grassroots movement, is an across-the-board movement. It's a movement consisting of all St. Martiners, living on the island and in a diaspora, right? So we do not represent, per se, governments. We are a collective. We represent basically the spirits of all dead St. Martiners, all living St. Martiners, and all yet to be born St. Martiners, as well as those who want to be part of us. So we are one body. So what we are looking forward to, and we are open, as a matter of fact, I offered that back then to both administrations, that they could join with us, as a as a public-private partnership, So we have, a partnership between let's say the government of the northern side, the southern side, and the grassroots movement. That is one voice, and I guarantee you, the French and the Dutch, they will respect that. Period. I was hearing some time ago, you had a repeat of Dr. Daniel Gibbs, and I have to commend him as well, where he talked about establishing, a Congress, in terms of cooperation. Well, we go beyond cooperation, because if I take myself over, and the same thing goes to you and your wife, As a St. Martiner, I can't cooperate with myself. I'm a St. Martiner. You know, I have Dutch and French nationality, so I don't have to cooperate with me. I am myself. So the ultimate unity is just being one. You understand what I'm saying? No cooperation. Cooperation still.
But you know, we are one. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
We are one as a people,
and we want
the government is where the problem is.
And that's why I'm saying. And I told Mr. Martin, Dr. Martin, and that I told him that. You know?
You mean
sorry, I'm sorry, Dr. Messalina. I told him flat, not disrespectful, but flat. I am more powerful than you. I am more powerful than you. I am more powerful than the president of the French side. Why? I can speak. I don't have to ask anybody anything. This is a grassroots movement, right? And grassroots movement are recognized, you know, as authentic movement by United Nations. We speak on behalf of the people. You know, I said, your voice ends at a border. There's a border for you and the president. There's no border for me, my organization. It's across the border. And we are registered both in Paris as well as on that side, anchored legally. But we are one people and we act as one. We can talk to the CARICOM with one voice, not the Dutch side, not the French side. And that's a schizophrenic situation, right? So I'm not blaming them. So what I'm saying now, let's take it to the next level. Let's find a way.
What's the next level in your view?
Find a way that we become one, that we speak with one voice to the Caribbean. It's awkward. They will not tell us.
But could we do that under the present political...
Yes, as I said, as a grassroots movement, it's up to us as St. Martiners now.
So you're saying that, but in effect, you're asking politicians who were elected by the same grassroots members to give up their power.
No. What I'm saying, as a grassroots movement, right? We're one body. We're one body. We cooperate anywhere on the island, right? What we are saying, the collectivity only has jurisdiction over the northern side of the island. The Prime Minister only. What I'm saying is, this is our time as a people to come together and find a way, you know, and it's a process. It's a process towards unification. It's a process towards the Congress. But it's up to us here on St. Martin to do our work, right? As a movement, we are saying we are open. We are open to sit down, let's brainstorm. Let's be an example for the Caribbean. Let us show the Caribbean that we can speak with one voice. You know, let us come together, you know, use our creative imagination and find a way to say, we represent whole of St. Martin. And I guarantee you, with determination and intellect, the Dutch and the French, they will sign off to it, period.
You feel that it's time for Dutch St. Martin to start to work hard at attaining that same position as French St. Martin as an associate member?
No, I cannot talk for the government, sir. What I'm saying is, as an independent mind, it's ridiculous that as an island, when you go abroad, you can't speak for all St. Martiners. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. You speak for half. You're confusing the people in the region. They don't understand it. What I'm saying is, as a movement, right, I'm not bound to any religion, any government, whatever. So we are free. We can deal with the Caribbean with one voice. But what we are saying, you know, we are willing to sit down with the both administrations of this island and see how we can form some kind of a structure that we can speak with one voice. Dr. Gibbs, Mr. Gibbs spoke of the Congress. That's good. But let's start with the people. Let's start from bottom up.
But you know, politicians think, politicians are going to say, you know what, you're a grassroots movement, you want to get that position, I'll tell you what to do. Run for political office on both sides.
They can't tell us what to do.
No, that's what they're thinking, though.
But they could think what they want to
run for political office on both sides of the island, and maybe you get 1 or 2 seats, and then you can get in and do what you
want. You know, again, you know, that's why I don't judge anybody. If they feel that's the way to go about it, God bless them. You know, all I'm saying, I want to make an effort for us to be able to find a way so we can speak with one voice.
But you see the political reality here, though, right? Politicians, I've been doing this for a long time. I've interviewed every politician of any significance in the former Nelson Antilles, and even some from the Netherlands. The fact of the matter remains, privately, they think that their power was attained through one man, one vote. And any organization such as yours, if they want to have that same power, should then go to the polls when there's an opportunity. That's how politicians...
Yeah, fine with me, and I find they should dig in themselves. It doesn't matter to me. That's their business. All I can do is offer what I see as a way out. You know, I'm not responsible, because in life, everything you do or don't do comes at a price. You understand? And if, you know, politicians do not want to move to that next level, so be it. You know, so be it. And
let me challenge you. Let me challenge you here, because you remember back in the 90s, all the discussions we had, and your position was for the Nelson Antilles. You remember that?
Yeah,
right?
sure.
My position was political independence. Other colleagues of mine wanted separate status, which I didn't agree to. I don't know if you agreed later on to that, but I never did. I maintained for political independence.
Mm-hmm.
I still do today.
Mm-hmm.
However, given the circumstances that we're under, then the type of politicians we have in power, I don't see that attainable in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, do you still feel the way you felt back in the 90s about St. Martin's political future?
I don't know exactly what you mean. I want to be clear when I answer.
But then, do you think that St. Martin should never have left the Nelson Antilles?
Yes, I believe they should never left.
Okay.
Yes.
And today now, because they've left the Nelson Antilles, what is the option? You think this option that we have right now is important, because that's going to lead on to what you're doing?
Yes, you know, again, there's only so much I could do. There's only so much I can do, Oral. You know, as I said, this is in a way a last-ditch effort. You know, all I can do is my part, you know, and take responsibility for what I say and what I propose, and what others do or don't do, that's up to them. You understand what I'm saying? I believe, and this is a bad example I'm going to give, but I give it for one specific reason. Because I'm that type of person as well. As the Dutch would put it, ik heb er lak aan wat ander denken. Once I know what I want. Because changes don't come from conformism, right? Changes come from people who have the guts to change things. I'll give you an example. Look how the world is changing right now beyond belief. You see what Trump is doing in America? Trump is changing everything in America. I'm not saying I agree with him. But he has learned, he has found at a certain moment just to be bold. Because most people, most politicians, you know, at a given moment, I don't know what word to use, but when you're strong, such as what President Trump is doing, he has just changed, he's not talking. So the point I'm trying to make is things that we thought was never possible, happening every day in front of our eyes in America. So I never say never. You understand what I'm saying? He is turning back the clock in many ways for some people, and for other people, he advancing the clock. You know? So it's about, do we find a charismatic leader? That's what the boys don't do. Huh? Find a charismatic leader who at a certain moment can touch the people to the point that changes, which at a given moment were thought not to be possible, would be possible. And it's not going to be Leopold, you know. But who am I now to judge for the future and say, but whatever never happened?
But it could be...
I just do not know, Oral, you see.
It could be some young politician...
That's why, Oral...
Listening.
That's the exactly result to cut you out. That's exactly the reason, Oral, until I close my eyes and I can speak, I'll speak. Because I believe when God gives you a message or whatever, it's not up to you to say, well, no, a thing will work. You can't come to heaven and not carry out what you have to do, so to speak. So I ain't worrying about others think. My whole career has been based on what people tell me not to do. You can't do this, you can't do, you can't do that. I have known nothing. I get very, how you put it, inspired when I believe in something and the whole world is against it. I say, I'm sorry that I abuse the world because only 3 million of you and I'm there. You know, so for me, life is about energy. It's about conviction. I don't look at numbers.
But Mr. James, the thing is that I've known you all my professional life, and you remember We for We, how important that was, and that movement, and all the other movement that you've been involved in, leading up to nation building.
Yes, exactly. It's an evolution of it.
And it's amazing, but for some reason, this is not the Simran you and I knew back in the 90s. And the present Prime Minister, I think, is an honorable man. He's trying his best. You know, he approached you. He's easily accessible. He wants to do well. But things have changed so much right now. And I've seen elected officials trying to do, at least bring them together, even in a Congress where they were all elected by both sides of the island, and they were reluctant to do it. So I'm just challenging you to see where you stand and forcing you to maybe say the thing you really don't want to say, but the grassroots movement is an important movement. The problem is, and the reality is, the politicians, the ones that have to make it work in combination with grassroots movement, they're not ready.
Oro, there's no way you can uninspire me or anybody, the world. It's totally impossible. Totally impossible. Yeah? As long as I have life, and I can think, because that's the type of person I am, Oro.
Have you met President Mussington?
Not as president.
Okay.
I know him very well, you know. But, Oro, unfortunately, thank God I'm a person, I don't look back and whatever, say like, I told you so. But many times, it's people like myself and others who stuck their neck out for years to try to get things done. After you're gone, they happen, and people forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Even so that's going to happen with me too. And that's just fine with me because there are people who did things to me, I have no idea who they are, and I benefit from. That's how life is. We live on each other's shoulders. We build on each, that's why I always remind myself, Leopold, my work is built on the shoulders of so many who went before me.
But you got to speak to President Mussington, Mr. James. I think in an official capacity, like you did with
who said that's not in the make?
Okay, because once that happens, I think we can see something happen.
I can't give you all my details of my plans here.
Well, you could bust the pot here, man. You could give us the scoop here.
But Oro, don't be surprised. All I can tell you, do not be surprised. You know, I love what I'm doing. Honestly, I really love what I'm doing because it's constructive. It's empowering people. I believe in empowering people. I just believe in empowering. I love it. You know, and when things are hard, but once I believe in it, that is, you cannot demote. It's impossible to demotivate me.
And it's impossible to get rid of the grassroots.
You know, seriously, you know, I love anybody who knows me. If you love me, right, what you do, you make my life as miserable as you think you can. Because that just turns me on. Once I believe in what I'm doing, and I love this, and I give credit to everybody. So I want to make it clear here that I don't criticize anybody because we all have a role to play. Every one of us have a role to play.
But did you tell the Prime Minister your position on nation building?
Yes, he knows it clearly. Yeah. I'm going to put the Prime Minister on a spot now. Not offensively, but factually. He was on an interview on the radio, I think it was, I'm not sure, Friday. And he was prayed for in a very intense prayer. I don't know where it took place, by a pastor and the friends, extremely intense. And at the end, the Prime Minister promised that he will do everything to bring unity and what other word he used? I forget the word, but bringing people together. He'll do everything, right? And he got blessed to carry that out. So he has no choice. He simply has no choice. That is recorded, right? So he has to live up to that one way or the other, because he realizes, and everybody realizes, look, why a lot of people are still calling for James is because, when you look around in the world and on St. Martin, we have tried everything.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because your position in nation building and the grassroots movement is very important. And I think 99.9% of St. Martiners are along with you.
I realize that nobody has all the answers. I for sure don't have all the answers.
That's true.
Right? And I have reached a stage where I don't like to judge people or to condemn people, right? I try as much, and I enjoy that very much.
Not judging. When you're in public office, though, you have to be very careful and be open for criticism. And I always say that some politicians who pick up the phone and call me, hey, you said something, but why you said that?
Mm-hmm.
Others, they wouldn't call you, but they'll try to figure out all kind of ways how they can get even with you. And that's a big mistake.
You see, I agree with all of that. I always tell people I only could talk for me, right? I only could talk for me and what I love. And I have a feeling, I don't want to sound pretentious, honest to God not, because basically my children don't even want me to get back in this field. And I don't necessarily, I'm eager, at all costs to get back because my health and everything else. And when you look at what I did over those years, 40 years for sure, the effect on my family, on my health, financially, everything came out of my pocket. Everything came out of my pocket. I put a lien in my house.
I know what you're talking about. I went through the same.
I only could talk for me. And still I don't have an ounce of regret or anger or vengeance. That's not how I am.
But you still is the voice of the people.
But what I want to say, Oral, is I feel that really God is telling me, Leopold, this is a task for you. And I don't necessarily know if I want to do it under all circumstances because, it's...
But you can't. There's nobody else to do it.
As I said, not at all costs. Not at all costs. And it's a feeling of, a difficult choice to make.
Okay.
Because I feel that I can do it. I can do it.
Look, I know exactly where you're coming from. I don't want to say here on the show what you're thinking, but I know where you're coming from because I've been at that situation many, many times. Even now, when you sacrifice so much for an island that you love and the people that you love, and then you ask yourself, but nothing is changing. The people that you're fighting for sometimes don't even see that you're fighting for them. And who is paying the price is you, and you're the one who's championing the cause for them. They're the ones who are kicking you down the street.
So what I realize when it comes to these things, or if I may, if you ever do it for your own glory, you're in trouble.
So you got to do it for the glory of the country. You got to do it
really. It got to be a love. It got to be a calling.
Otherwise, and I know it's a calling. It's a love and a calling for you.
I think for myself, it's a calling too, and I think I can do it. And the more difficult the situation becomes, the stronger I feel I can bring people because it's not about me. I don't need any plaque. I don't need any position. I'm close to the exit. I don't need all of that. So I think I have the how you put it, I have the right maturity right now to build bridges. That's what I find important.
You got the Prime Minister listening to you. You got his ear. You got the President of Prince Martin attention.
Yes,
right. You are in a very critical situation right now to make changes. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I have to go to a quick break.
Sure.
Hold the thought. We're going to come right back And we're going to continue speaking with the man himself, Dr. Anders Leopold James, right here on Speaking of Everything on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio.
We are vibrant, expressive, warm, and diverse. Together, we conquer, and now we expand into new horizons, giving you more of the best. Introducing our new Banco Matico Plus with wider acceptance, purchase protection, and enhanced security. Whether you're online, traveling, or in paradise, experience more with Windward Island Bank. Banco Matico Plus. More of the best.
My guest right here on Speaking of Everything is the man himself, Dr. Anders Leopold James. We're here speaking with him. He is a dynamic individual, and one thing you can never get him to say or do what you want.
Eigenwijs. He's eigenwijs. He conceited.
No, it's good because you don't want to be like a tree swaying in the wind, wherever the wind goes. You want to be firm in what you believe. And
I want to be fair.
And fair too.
I want to be fair.
But
I just want to be fair.
You're a visionary. You're doing a lot. This young generation don't even know what they're going to lose.
Yeah, unfortunately.
If they don't listen to people like you.
Unfortunately.
So, as I say, you got the ears of the Prime Minister and the President.
And that's why I came back, Oral, because I felt really that there's a heavy task on my shoulders. And I feel I can do it because I don't have no anger, I don't have no hatred, I don't have any of that whatsoever. I feel cool. I'm open to everybody. I'm open to listen to because everybody has something to offer. And I just love the idea of being a bridge builder, a nation builder. And I feel that on St. Martin, right? St. Martin has a unique. I find circumstance in that it's a small island, right? It's run by two different national, let's say, administrations with an open border, and has over 120 different nationalities. So Saman is the world. Saman is surrounded. Saman is part of this planet. The planet is like, from a spiritual point of view, a place of darkness right now. It's darkness. The whole world. You listen to the news, it's just children are becoming, stressed out because the negativity is in the air. What I hope is that we on St. Martin, through nation building, can bring all the people together, right, in a way that we develop a harmonious cooperation with each other that would create a light, a spiritual light in the darkness of the world.
You remember what year you started our nation building movement?
It was basically an evolution starting from we for we.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not sure. I think the year was, if I'm not mistaken, between 2010 and 2014, more or less.
The reason I ask you that, I had a young man here recently, Mr. Emilio Calamera.
Yes, I saw it. I saw it.
And I thought about you.
Yeah.
But you see, you got a plan. If you don't plan, then what do you do?
You plan to fail. You plan to fail.
And nation building was the plan.
Yes.
That we missed.
Oh yes. What he said again?
He said a lot of things.
He said something because I make a remark.
And I thought about you because really, he didn't mention nation building, by the way, but he was just saying, right? You can't wait for an emergency then to plan.
Yes, he was saying something about different whatever for education, for this and that and whatever. And then I said, but nation building is the mother of all different whatever.
So I'm saying, I thought about you because he was talking about economics in government.
Yes, exactly.
And here you are, nation building. And I saying to myself, wow.
Exactly. And that's something that most people never understood. Okay. They never understood.
And so many people call me privately saying, wow, they showed this guy. It's incredible. And I thought about you and nation building. Had we really started?
I really believe, if we manage, and we can do it on St. Martin, we can set an example here for the Caribbean, for the kingdom, Republic, and the world, with the vision combined with social media, because social media, the power of social media is, it doesn't matter whether you are in a big country or on a rock. social media is cyberspace.
Yeah.
Right? If we can get all the assets of everybody here together, you know what we can do for the world? Listen, I believe once we develop that new narrative of hope, you know, of the people, that will give a spiritual light that will come from space. Consider just a minute. You look at the earth is totally dark, but look, there's a place here, there's a beam coming from a place here. What is it? Let's
this man as a beacon.
Exactly. And it is possible. And that's what I told the Prime Minister. So you can go down in history. You can go down in history as a great statesman. You can get a Nobel Prize. I told him. Because here we can experiment with creating what the world needs. We have all nations here.
What the world needs is peace and unity.
Peace, unity, happiness, you name it. Positive energy. You see, and I believe in that so much. That's my passion. That's my passion. And I just love the idea that we have so many different people here, right? If we can get all those people together to build St. Martin, not build where you originally come from, no. You could come with what you came with. It was like in the past,
bring all the good things.
Like the American, that was the American dream was about that.
Well, that was good.
That was the American dream. That's how America. Yeah. That's how America develops. Right. Because everybody brought something to build America.
Yeah, but they're bringing in the gangs too, and you can see what you can see what happening when you say
exactly.
When you say that, you have to give both ways. It used to be like that, but today now they open the doors.
So and now my point is this. We are going to be the most powerful nation on earth, period. That's my point. Right? It has nothing to do with size. Right? I don't care what happened in America. I don't care what happened in Russia with whatever. I care what we do. Because the only thing we have direct responsibility and control over is ourselves and our mind. That's all we have control over. You see? And that is where I want to basically build on, with the support of everybody. Because what I realize, I see myself as a catalyst. There are so many people out there who are much, much brighter than me, far brighter than me, but they need to be switched on. They need to be inspired to take.
They will never be switched on. They don't have what you got.
No.
Another honest, you're an educator. You are a unique person. I mean, see, God created the world. He created also a few people like yourself who will go out on the limb for the people. Not everybody wants to do that. We got to be real about that one. I'm using your words here now. You know that too.
Or you're not real enough. Right? I'm real.
I know.
Yeah, that's because what I tell you. I ain't talking about others. I talk about the role that I can play. Listen, you can have a spark, and a spark can create a whole, let's say, bushfire, right? A whole forest fire, right?
Right.
But if it don't start with a spark, how's it gonna ever get to that extent? You know, I see myself as a catalyst, as a spark, as a spark, you know, and I love it. I love it, and I'm good at it, period. Because I don't care what you say. Once I believe in something,
you do.
Whatever you say, oral, I can make it work for me.
You know, so now, what's the next step? What's next for Mr. Leopold? You laugh.
Next step is from here, you know, I go home, you know, dress in my...
I don't mean it that way. I mean, you're trying to run away from it now. We're talking about...
I going home just being myself.
No, you don't want him to know?
Being myself is the rainy weather now. It's time to grow potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Look, they're going to come call. I'm sure more members of parliament are going to be giving you a call. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to...
You know, Oral, the thing is, I'm not hiding, basically. Whoever wants to get in touch with me knows how to get in touch with me. You know, and I'm not gonna go home, sit down, and wait. My life continues, right? I am available to do whatever I can to contribute towards humanity, right? It will be for me a great privilege, because for me, life And I always say that life for me should be also more than just your personal interest.
But I'm glad you said that, because, you mentioned your children, but you also have grandchildren.
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to leave behind a better place for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can still make changes on this island.
Yeah, well, within the means, I'll do whatever I can within my means and within, the possibilities that I have. You understand what I'm saying? Look, I'm not 50 anymore. I'm 82 years.
Yeah,
physically, I cannot do what I used to do.
Mind never changes.
No, that's true. My mind is extremely strong. And sometimes it's a problem.
Tell me, I got 40-something years interviewing you. You're the same person that's seen here back in the 90s. So.
I don't know. That's something. Sometimes I don't know if it's a blessing or whatever, because my mind is pretty good, and I have to say, physically, I feel good too. It's just mainly that my vision is a problem.
I gotta ask you this honestly, though, right? I'm the one that give you the most blows when it comes to interview, right? Most disgusted.
You know what I like so much about you, Oral? Well, Oral, I have such an admiration for you, you cannot imagine.
But I'm the one who always arguing with you.
Oral, I never took things personal, to start with. I never took things personal, so I don't see it as that. I see it like you are doing your job. Listen, if you don't do it, I'll be disappointed in you. I told you, I think the first program we had, I think I told you something like crazy remark, of course. I told you, if you don't ask the difficult questions, I can walk off your show and you can be talking to an empty chair like you did once with Claude. I don't know if you remember I told you that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah? Because I am dead sure of myself, Oral.
I know.
That's one thing I have. You can put me anywhere in the world, under any circumstances, anytime. Once I believe in whatever, it matters not.
But you know what's so important, though, Mr. James? I see the transition. I see the time when people resented the idea of me having you on the show.
Sure. You take a risk.
Okay, and
you're still surviving.
even advertisers, they don't want to see you. Okay,
exactly.
Today, some of those people admire you. They're not even around anymore. I don't think you realize what you've done the last 44 years.
I don't stop to think about it.
Yeah,
honestly.
but that's why I'm saying I'm challenging you to don't stop. Continue, and I know you're going to continue the way you are.
I don't go tell my children that.
But we need to know now what's next in terms of, because nation building and grassroots movement are, I think, our only alternative as a people.
I believe in that too.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm serious here now.
I believe, yeah.
So you can't stop now.
Oro, thank you very much for that. And again, I always say, listen, I'm 82, so it's countdown time. Let's be real. It's countdown time, right? And I feel it. It's countdown time, right? I don't have time to waste, And I humble myself to work with anyone who wants to work with me, And in particular, I extend my hand to Dr. Messalina and to President Mossenton. It's up to them. It's up to them to accept my hand and sit down and talk, not for me, not for themselves personally, but for the country, and to set an example to the whole. We can do it. And the Caribbean is looking out, because we can't play a leading role in the Caribbean if we are not even united in let's say, ourselves.
But now that you said that, what about Once in Martin? Did they contact you? Ever get in touch with you?
Not really.
But you know who I'm speaking about, Once in Martin?
Yeah, I think that's Mr. Bryson, yes.
Rhoda Arundel?
Oh, of course they didn't contact me, because who's Leopold? I've been cynical. Some people just don't contact me.
But I think it's important for your
it's not up to me. It's not up to me. I'm an open person.
Yeah.
Like you ask me for an interview. Nobody else ever asked me for an interview, whatever. Or it's a quick, whatever, and I'm not getting in that.
But what if I ask and say, hey, look, maybe you guys should get together with Dr. Arundel Jim? I think it's important, because you've been there before them.
Long before them. Most of them. And apart from that, I give them a lot of credit. Honest, I give them credit. I give them a lot of credit, because they are doing a great job in their way. But if we all join forces, it takes it to another plane.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You see, and I am there. I am because I don't have no ego in that sense. I just don't. I'm a very humble person.
I'm going to bring it up to the president, see what they say.
Well, as I said, I'm available, and I don't need no credit. I don't need no people just, lifting me. I get very, kind of shy when people praise me. I'm not, that. I'm not good at that at all.
But we need to honor our own.
It's something else. But I don't go out there looking for. No, I am not. I am not like that.
If you was like that, you
I
would
will
never
not do it.
If you was like that, you would never done what you did over the years.
No, absolutely. And I enjoyed it. And you know what? I'll tell you something. Something wrong with me, I guess, because I always felt for people who lived only for self.
Oh yeah.
And who never discovered the joy of living for something bigger than self. I feel for them. I feel for people who have a lot of money, a lot of material things, and then.
No, you're right. You're right.
I'm very comfortable walking with just a few dollars in my pocket because I'm the money.
You don't have to walk with money in your pocket.
I am the money. I'm the embodiment. I consider myself to be the embodiment of what I say I am. I'm the embodiment of St. Martin. I'm the embodiment of the Treaty of Concordia. I'm the embodiment. Not what the French or the Dutch plan to do. That's their business. I know how we lived as one people. And that became common law. So don't come and tell me that's nonsense.
Well, I see that the real liberal come out there, though, boy.
You see, and one of the things that, and that's why I thank you so very much, because unfortunately, and not because it's me, why I never like to give interviews, casual interviews, was because the topic we are talking about, oral, is one of the most difficult topics. Because people always get the feeling, am I in or out in terms of nation building, So they're ready to see whether they're in. If they're in, according to your theories, they love you. If they think that you exclude them, you are racist. People consider me to be a racist.
And if
what I want to say now? I lost it.
But I think I see what you're talking about in terms of if you love your country, you're nationalist, you're also...
this is what I want to say. Oral, I'm not going to lie. I could fill libraries still for eternity. I can. So, and what is impossible for me is when people ask me, okay, in a half an hour, explain me this and that. How am I going to explain something that affects the spirit of the dead, the living, and the yet unborn? How can you explain the gospel in an hour? Because certain issues are so sensitive that you got to digest it. Because, and why I don't like to give casual interviews is because if you don't get enough time for it to sink in, you could do more damage than anything else.
Do you want to make sure that you clarify everything?
Listen, people have to accept, give me a full program, or I don't do it. Because otherwise, you won't see the context of what I'm saying. Oh, yes, he's a racist, because you hear one snippet. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
That's so unfortunate because everybody who know that's not.
And it happens all the time. It happens with me, and that is what I think the good Lord got me here for. Huh? Oral, I tell you the truth, I feel so, right? Because, or if you realize how many documents I have torn up and burnt, hundreds upon hundreds.
Mr. James, but people who don't know you, your wife was a European Caucasian.
You understand?
How they could call you a racist?
Yeah, and you might be surprised to know who. Right?
Sometimes but you own people too sometimes.
I don't hold against them because I'm above those things, really. I'm above those things.
Look, you've lived your life. You've done what you had to do for your country.
Yeah.
I think we're proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You are a remarkable person. I always wish if we had 100 like you, Mr. James, we would not have the problems we have today.
I'd like to end with this, though, Oral. I only going to accept that under the condition that I shared with all those who went before me.
I agree.
Who I know and most who I don't know. I remember certain people were on your program. There was this particular lady from Middle Region. I forget her name.
Margaret?
Lola, forget her name, oh my God. They were so grassroots. And when they spoke, they touched me. People like Maria, you had a Mary too. A Mary. You had a lady from, I forget. Lolita.
Lolita, yeah.
Lolita.
Yeah, right.
For me, they are heroes. For me, they are heroes. Yeah. You see, because for me, I don't go around tapping myself on my shoulder. I will never do that. Because these people, right, they inspired me. And I want to share whatever comes my way with them. Let's say the known soldiers and the unknown soldiers. Because I am doing what I'm doing today because of their inspiration and their sacrifices.
Even Claude York, Cowboy, was very...
Cowboy, so outspoken, so powerful, so independent, you know. And,
in a different way than you.
And what I like so much about Cowboy, you know, I love Cowboy. Yeah, he was a real cowboy. Yeah, he was a loving person.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Cowboy's a loving person, a loving person.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you here. I don't want this to.
Hope I'm disappointed.
I don't want this to be the last. We got to do some more shows, and we got to disagree and agree, but we got to do some more shows.
I promise you I'll do, because, you know, again, you know, Oro, you more than any other major man have made me what I have.
And the people love you. The people love you.
Thank you very much.
I'm telling you, the people love you.
And what you have done, Oro, I look up so much at you because I know it wasn't easy for you, and you have been consistent. You have built an empire. You've built an empire with your family. Yeah. What you have done with your family, 4 ladies, 3 daughters, and a wonderful wife. I mean, have you ever got a medal, Oro? I think you, if anybody
never got a medal, but my medal, I have 4 medals. My wife and my daughters.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Oro, if anybody deserves a medal, it's Oro and his family.
Well, I'm like you. We do it for the love of St. Martin. And I tell people, if it wasn't for my wife, this show would have stopped in 2020. Didn't want to continue. I was really tired of it and said, that's it, I'm not going to do it. And she said, no, you got to continue.
You want me to return a favor to you, Oro? I admire you from so many different angles. And one angle I admire you as a man, you look good. You look super good. You always look good. You always look good. You dress good. You know, whenever you see Oro, you know, he looks good. He's very respectful. You know, you never heard Oro in a scandal. I mean, we live in a real world. You know, we men be bad, right? You know, never hear Oro in any scandal. He's always a model. I find you are, you know, a model family, if you ask me personally.
Oh, thank you.
You're a model family.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
And I look up so much at 3 daughters, 3 academically trained ladies, trained in Europe, in Holland. I know, whatever.
All at Leiden University. But
how you get it done, or I don't know. I got to interview you one day.
All right, good. But I really hope that those in power would be sincere, meet with you again, and all the different organizations who are working in the interest of St. Martin. Because before them, it was you with your organization. We have a tendency in St. Martin to push the people aside who was there from the beginning. You've been there from the inception and you're still there. And I think we need to honor, we need to respect that. We need to come together as a people, organization, groups, politicians, everyone, and hear what you have to say. Because you haven't said everything yet.
Oh no, I haven't said anything at all.
No, I'm telling you so. Again, I hope we can have you back.
Thank you. And I want to thank you so much, Oro. Thank you so much, you know, for bringing the best out of me.
And I got some little surprises for you. Some good surprises I'm going to tell you about.
I might
in June. So around.
I hope I find a rock on the beach. You won't find me.
Don't worry, we can find you. I know you're gonna love it. All right.
I find a rock, put concrete on it. You can't move it. Yeah. No, I really thank you so much. Yeah. You know, and I admire you a lot. Your wife, your daughters. You know, and you bring out the best of me.
And the same with me.
You bring out the best.
We can agree, disagree,
Bro,
but we
thank
still
you, my friend.
brothers.
Thank you. Love you a lot.
Good.
Man.
Love you too.
Love you a lot.
Jim, again, congratulations. Continue doing a great job. All right, and all the best to you and your family, grandchildren, everyone. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
That's
Thank you.
okay. That's Dr. Anders James. I'm Oral Gibbs here, and speaking of everything, I'll see you next time on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. Take care. Bye.